Hey friends, this is Dolynny TV. Good afternoon. Welcome back to the Sunday edition of Trade Rumor Updates as we are closing in on the final week and a bit before the NHL Trade Deadline. And the Edmonton Oilers have some moves to make. We all know that. Whether you're in the market for a goalie, defenseman, a couple of forwards, we all know we have our specified targets. And today, looking at a couple more targets that we've kind of talked about over the past little bit, whether it be in terms of the Oilers media doing it, in terms of just kind of guys like me floating it, whatever the case might be. We've got Sam Carrick and Adam Henrique to discuss this afternoon. So friends, let's quickly get to it because this is going to be a mouthful to explain. On Saturday headlines last night in the Hockey Night in Canada game, obviously, Elliot Friedman on Saturday headlines said the Edmonton Oilers are looking for forward depth, links the Oilers to Adam Henrique and Sam Carrick, but adds that he's unsure whether they would like to add both or just one. So just to summarize that, let's go back to that one last line there one more time. Would like to add both or just one. So Sam Carrick's kind of a guy that I don't know necessarily if he moves the needle for the Oilers any more than what we already have down there in a guy like Derek Ryan. But I will talk about exactly why I think Sam Carrick would be a good ad for the Oilers here right now, friends. As we go to Sam Carrick's profile this season, he's got 11 goals, 3 assists on the year. He's shooting 11.4% and has 12 minutes and 36 seconds time on ice. So you look at this here for the Oilers when you try and shake out how that would sit in the roster, friends. Kind of an interesting idea here is Sam Carrick's a guy who, hasn't put up a ton of points over the course of his career. We'll take a look at that in a moment. But for right now, Sam Carrick would have as many points as Derek Ryan, more points than Sam Gagner, more points than Matthias Janmark, more points than Connor Brown, more points than Dylan Holloway, and more points than any of the other guys that have played some scraps within the lineup in terms of games. So that's where I'm looking at this is obviously not the guy you're adding for depth scoring. You're adding this for grit. You're adding this for determination. You're adding this for work ethic in the bottom six if you're adding Sam Carrick to the roster. And what that is exemplified here by he's 6'0", of course 200 pounds, so he's a nice sturdy frame. He's 32 years old as well, drafted way back in 2010, okay? So this guy's a 14-year pro, I guess you could say. And he's looking to cement himself in his first ever playoff run. And you look at this here for Sam Carrick as well. He's a guy that's only ever had double-digit goals once, never played a full season in the NHL. He's playing a pretty full season this year with the Anaheim Ducks in what is a terrible year for them. He's hovering around a kind of career middle points per game kind of average. So interesting to see there for him that he's not quite putting up lots of points, but he's also playing 12:36. So a guy that, you give him Derek Ryan minutes, and I'm sure he could do just fine. Let's go back to that profile card for one last second as well. He's a right-hand shot, so that is what there is to like about Sam Carrick. Obviously, he's a big frame, bigger than Derek Ryan frame, bigger than maybe even Sam Gagner. I think Gagner is only 5'10", 5'11", if I'm not mistaken. So he adds a bit, not much, but a bit of size to your bottom six. And a guy that at 200 pounds is a steady frame as well. And then to rediscuss Adam Henrique, and of course Sam Carrick's at 850 as well, 850K against the cap. So Adam Henrique, 16 goals, 21 points, 17 minutes on the ice. He's been producing in what is a very terrible Anaheim team this year. So that's an interesting idea there as well. And then look at that producing results there too. He's talking about possibly putting up his third or fourth best season of his career if he produces. This is just going back to the season he was traded to Anaheim, and very easily he could have his best year if he sticks it out in Anaheim. He could have his best year in Anaheim all the way at this point of his career. So keep that in mind when it comes down to it, friends. The Oilers, I don't know how much they're realistically going to have to pay for a guy like Sam Carrick. Probably not much, if anything. A 5th, 6th round pick probably is enough to acquire Sam Carrick, especially considering he has no playoff experience. But you look at Adam Henrique, if you're going to give something up that's a little bit more sizable, right? Like that first round pick, I assume the Oilers' ask would be Henrique, retention, and of course Sam Carrick to make that whole deal work, given whatever else we're giving up. Probably a roster forward to fit in two new guys. But end of the day, I don't think necessarily, right? My opinions have shifted. I thought Adam Henrique wasn't really going to be a piece that could add anything to this Oilers team. But after the post All-Star break stretch we've had and watching the Oilers bottom six really struggle to galvanize an offense that means something in between six guys, and obviously the bottom six needing that little bit of extra compete level as well. I think guys like Adam Henrique and Sam Carrick are 100% guys that would change that dynamic to some degree, right? And I think it was Patrick from the Oilers Fanatic who said it best last night. That's your new third and fourth line centers. How does that change the dynamic? And given that you probably give up Warren Foegele to make the deal work, or somebody around some kind of cap space there, Derek Ryan and Matthias Janmark, maybe both of them. I don't know how you do it. Henrique's a guy, obviously, that's pro. You don't want to give up too many penalty killers, although Sam Carrick would be a good guy to have on the penalty kill, I'm sure. You look at it, there's a lot of ways to dice how you would fold out the bottom six if you added these two guys. But I like what the Oilers have kind of cooking up here, looking at different kinds of options. Sam Carrick, I'm not sure if he's a guy that I'm 100% going to rush out and get, but if he's still available at deadline day at about 11 a.m. and it's like, price drops, 7th round pick for Sam Carrick, let's do it. I don't see why you wouldn't end up going out there. And I think, too, Patrick was saying that Bob Stauffer's been touting him a lot as well. I believe I've heard that. So maybe a guy you could add. But friends, I'm Tyson, this is Dolynny TV. My Sunday carries on. I am up on out of here.